So as I close this video out, kids, I just wanted to ask y'all one final question before I close this video out. What's the rush to grow up so fast? All right, hey guys. In this section of the video, I'm going to be interviewing different people that I know. It's going to be family members, mentors, people like that, or just people I know in public, or people I find in public to interview about this video. So starting out, I have a special guest with me today. This is my mom right here. Mom, can you give us like a little like background, like where you from, and then how you grew up? Cause we grew up like in a different generation. Like how I grew up is different from like how you grew up, if you don't mind.
Okay, so I am. You want me to hold it?
Yeah.
I am Elijah's mother, Ashley. I grew up in Kinston, North Carolina. Well, I was born in Kinston, North Carolina. I grew up in Greene County, Snow Hill. So I went to all the schools there, to primary school, middle school, high school. And then around maybe 16 moved back to Kinston. So how did I grow up? I grew up in the country, in a rural area. It wasn't too much to do growing up. Lived in a trailer park. Remember going outside playing kickball. Just playing with the neighborhood kids, but it wasn't too much to do. It wasn't like a lot of activities, no after school programs or anything like that was available where I lived at or where I grew up at. So at the age of 14, I did get pregnant with Elijah. And I had him at 15, so I was a teen mom. But backtracking, grew up in a small family. So it was my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, which she passed away. She was murdered. So we grew up in a real small family, and it was just immediate, like my mother kids, my aunt kids, immediate family. We were a close-knit family, as far as it was just us. We didn't have a large family. And after my aunt was murdered, my cousins Corinne, Zaya, and Deja, they came to come stay with us. Corinne eventually went to go stay with his dad, but my mom got custody of Tazaya and Deja. So me being the oldest girl, I helped raise them while my single parent mom, she worked second shift a lot. So I was home with the kids. So I didn't have much of a childhood. And fast forward, got pregnant with Elijah. I became a teenage single mother, and I just raised him, really. So basically, like, that's what I did. I raised Elijah, and when he was about 10, that's when I met his stepdad, and we got married, and I really just worked and put our family first. Elijah was very how can I say this? I gotta edit some of this.
I know, yeah, it's fine.
But Elijah was very ambitious as a young kid. We're in fourth, fifth grade. He was already talking about college. It's almost as if he knew not necessarily what he wanted to do, but he just wanted a different life. He knew he wanted to go to college. He knew he wanted to be wealthy. Like he knew he wanted money. He knew that he wanted the finer things. So he knew that at a very young age. And what I did was help him to create that life for himself. Anything that Elijah brought to me, I'm like, okay, let's make a plan so we can do this. So that's really been my role up until probably last year. That's when I started pouring into myself, and I got back enrolled in school. I graduated from natural hair school, and I'm currently enrolled in cosmetology school. So now I am putting myself first and doing the things that I want to do.
All right, guys. So today, I have another guest with us for our interview for this video. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, I'm Viviana.
Okay, Viviana. Do you mind giving us a little backstory, like a backstory where you came from and how you grew up, like in your household when you was younger, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so I'm one out of three other. I have three. I grew up in a Mexican household. My parents are immigrants from Mexico, and they're also pretty old-fashioned. So it was kind of interesting growing up. I'm the first child, so I had to learn everything on my own as they weren't able to help me much. Um, and then when my siblings came along, it was a little bit more easier for them since I was able to guide them. Uh, I grew up kind of being like a second parent to my siblings as well. My dad worked a lot. My mom, she was for most of up until um so I didn't have much time to myself, or I guess like to enjoy myself. And then with them being like pretty old fashioned, I didn't go out much either, until just like recently. Um school was okay. I like going to school. I didn't go to college straight after school, just because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I feel like I didn't have much time to really explore like what interested me, um, just until like this year I found what I actually wanted to do. So right now I'm in college. Um, and yeah.
All right. So now, oh, I forgot to mention where. So are you from Mexico? I forgot to ask. Are you from out of the U.S. or are you from the U.S.?
So I was born here. Just my parents are from Mexico.
Okay, I just wanted to shout out that wherever you was from. Just so we could just shout out that area.
My name is Maurice Fairley. I'm a licensed clinical mental health qualified supervisor for the state of North Carolina.
So, Mr. Farley, it's nice having you here today. First off,
Thank you.
I want to ask you if you mind giving us like a little backstory about yourself, how you grew up as a kid to the point where I'm talking to you right here.
Okay. Well, to all the YouTubers out there, I grew up in Hamlet, North Carolina. It's a small town. I grew up in a single parent home. Me, my brother, and myself, and my mother. My dad left home when I was 8 years old. And so I had to step up and raise my brother and help my mom. And so with that, I became a young father at the age of 16 myself. And so that alone was my childhood. So you can imagine going from a single parent home to a young father at the age of 16. I don't statistically supposed to be sitting here in front of you today. But that's just statistics. So 10 toes down, I left home, came off to college, raised my son, got a undergrad degree in criminal justice, got 2 master's degrees, one in business and another one in mental health therapy, mental health counseling. And so that's why I sit here in front of you today.
My name's Dr. Coffee.
So, Dr. Coffee, do you mind sharing a bit of your backstory? Like
Yeah.
how you grew up as a kid to the point where I'm sitting with you right here, right now?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, well, I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It was kind of rough. Had a rough upbringing because of environment, financially, but love-wise, community-wise, family-wise, the family unit was intact. But I grew up just like most other inner city males around poverty, working class parents. They didn't necessarily know what was right, and they just was teaching us what they were taught by their parents. So it was a struggle because of the struggle mindset that my parents had that was imposed on them from their parents, and then that mindset was imposed on them by their parents. So if their parents and grandparents didn't know any better, how could they show me any better? I took it upon myself to say it's time to break the cycle. That's why I went to school. Came here in North Carolina, 96, ended up staying because of a girl. I know that's a corny reason to stand, but me and my friend came down here and he went back. I stayed here because of a girl, went to college. A couple years later after that, I got shot 3 times. Seeing my best friend killed in front of me right behind Bahama Breeze. I don't know if you're familiar with Bahama Breeze in Raleigh. It's right off of Wake Forest.
I know
Wake Forest
exactly
Road.
you went to, yeah.
Yeah, went to a party, CIAA, pulled up, wrong dude was outside, wrong time. And he shot 30 times into the car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I can show you the bullet holes. Bam, bam. And then one up there, you see that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you notice, I got Q's around my bullet holes, and that's because my best friend that was in the car, his name was Quincy, he had 12 credit semester hours left before he graduated. We just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Dude shot 30 times into the car, killed him. I was paralyzed for a week. I was in a coma for about 4 days. I still got one bullet behind my spine and one in my hip over here. They couldn't take out the wrist, permanent paralysis. I had to learn how to walk again. Currently, the front of my legs, I still can't feel them. No sensation because of where it hit me in my spine. My L3 lumbar caused damage. So with that, I started drinking heavy, was a shell of myself, didn't understand why. One of our mutual friends we know was doing therapy. He was becoming a doctor. I came in, I did therapy, found out what was wrong with me. He said I had PTSD. What's that? Learned what it was, learned how to manage it. He was like, hey, you should go to school and maybe consider doing this. And at that time, I was working in a corporate setting. I already had my bachelor's, I already had my master's. I had fast forwarded this story for you. I already had my bachelor's, I already had my first master's, an MBA in business. Went back to school after a year, toured with it. Did well, became a 4.0 student, did my residencies in Dallas and Atlanta, and then I earned my licensed clinical mental health counseling degree. After that, I decided I'm gonna go a step further to show myself, white people, and kids that look like me and you, that you can become a doctor. So I went and got my doctorate, and I became a 4.0 student, and I as well got my doctorate in January of 2022, and it's been on ever since. Now I got my own practice, coffee counseling services, and I'm here to break the stigma for black people. It's okay to talk about your issues and your problems. We taught growing up, don't talk about it. Go to church, pray about it. Mama, grandmama, that's fine. However, it doesn't work for everybody. If you feel a certain type of way, go to therapy, talk about it, because we all got traumas. And if I asked you, realistically, show me your Instagram, show me your Facebook, they show the phone. It's 1, 2, 3, 10. Out of 10 posts, I promise you, they got 5 of them talking about personal things on the internet where nobody cares. You might as well go to somebody professional. So that's how I got into this field.
Hey guys, so today I have another guest with me for the interview. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Yep, my name is Harrison Schwinger. I'm 19 years old and I'm in cosmetology school right now.
Okay. Hey Harrison. So today I just brought you here for a few questions, but first, before we get started with those questions, I wanted to ask you a little bit about yourself, a little backstory about yourself. How did you grow up as a kid, and how did that, how we get to this point where we're at, where I'm talking to you right now, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so I went to a charter school when I was younger from 3rd to 8th grade, and then I went straight to a public school, and it was very different environments. Like I went from a very like there was like 60 kids in my grade. It was all very like upper class people, and then I went to a public school with like I think it was 3,000 people. It was very mixed, very different environments. It was very different than what I was used to, and it was fine. Like high school was cool. Um, I went to Wake Tech for my associate degree for 1 semester, failed out of that, decided to do cosmetology school, and here I am. I'm really enjoying it.
If you don't mind, do you mind asking like where you're from? Are you from
Oh
North
yeah, yeah.
Carolina or?
Yeah, so I grew up in Raleigh. I grew up in like the Wake Forest area.
Mm,
Now we're just in North Raleigh. But yeah, I've grown up in Raleigh my whole life.
okay. I just wanted to make sure we included that. Shout out to the Wake Forest area. But yeah, let's get started. With this interview question. So the first question is: do you feel like you grew up too fast when you was younger, and why? If so, why?
So to answer that question, yes, I do feel like I grew up too fast. And why? So why I feel like that is because at a very young age I was given a lot of responsibility, and because I had so much expectation of the responsibility, I felt obligated to just be responsible for everyone else. So I really didn't have a childhood. At a young age, I was already babysitting well before Elijah came into the picture. Like, I was already, like, nurturing and helping to take care of other people. And even as a child, I remember just consoling and being there for my mom when I really didn't even understand what it was to really be there for someone, but it was just in me to do. So that is part of the reason why I felt like I grew up too fast. Like after I got a certain age, I feel like I wasn't given the opportunity just to be a kid, to just do what kids do. It was times that I couldn't go to basketball games because I had to stay home and babysit my little cousins. So it was times that I couldn't even go places because I had to basically be the mom or the adult while my mom was at work. So a lot of responsibilities put on me at a very young age.
So I think that I did grow up too fast when I was younger. I feel like I just put a lot of pressure on myself to be like a cool kid early. Like when I was like 10, I was like, man, I can't wait till I'm 13. I can be super cool and popular. And then when I was 13, I was like, wow, I can't wait to be driving cars when I'm 16 and going out and having fun. And then when I was 16, I just kept putting more focus on the future instead of really focusing on what I was doing in the moment. And I think I missed out on some moments because of that.
I do feel like I grew up pretty fast. Being like the firstborn, have to since they expect you to be the one with the responsibilities and showing your siblings leading by example. So you don't have much space to like mess up or make any mistakes. Um, yeah, so I guess just because I was the first child, it kind of forced me to grow up faster. Um, just so I gave my siblings an example of how they should grow up, even though I wouldn't want them to go at such a fast pace as I had to.
All right. I respect that answer. I feel like there's a lot of pressure put on you at a young age. The second question is, what's some advice you would give the kids? I guess since we're in the same generation.
Yes, I did grow up fast when I was younger. Think about it. My dad left home when I was 8. I was 8. My brother was 3.5. And my mom was by herself. She was maybe like 21 at the time. So my mom had to work a lot. So my mom taught me how to manage things at a young age to help her out. So by the time I was 16 having my own child, it was nothing. Because I had already helped take care of my brother. So for me, it was nothing. When my son's mother told me she was about to have a baby, I was like, okay. Because I already knew what it took to help raise a child versus because I helped raise my brother. So it wasn't a problem for me. So yes, I do feel like I grew up kind of fast. I didn't really enjoy a childhood like that at all. Because like I said, I was very responsible at a young age. I knew how to write a check. I knew how to buy groceries. I knew how to do the laundry. I knew how to manage a household when mom wasn't there. So a lot of things she installed in me that I still use today. You know what I'm saying? How to manage money. Well, if I give you this $30 to go in the grocery store, to make sure you don't go over these $30. I need for you to get this, but you can't go over these $30. So my mom taught me the value of money. She taught me how to pay bills. Listen, my mom had me driving at an early age, and so yeah, so she taught me basically everything I know, bro. And I still use her method today. I call it the barber method. You know what I'm saying? It's her method. You know what I'm saying? Because she taught me that. That's all I know. And I taught my son the same method. You could talk to my son today. The one that I had at 16, that's 29 now, he uses the same methods. So it's the barber method. I know my mom probably, if she see this video, be like, boy, you crazy. But it's her method.
No, I don't. In my generation, I don't feel like I grew up too fast. I think everything went the way it was supposed to work. I had a two-parent household. My dad, he was present, but he wasn't present. But he was there at least. And they taught me fundamental, core values and belief systems that I still carry on today. I didn't grow up faster than I was supposed to because I had two parents. Now I made decisions I wasn't supposed to make as a child that grown folks should make, but once again, I'm a child. We're going to explore at the age of 13, 14, 15. We figure we're grown because of puberty and testosterone. But in terms of what my parents gave me, I don't feel like I grew up faster than what I was supposed to. Today's children are, yes, for sure. I don't know if that's your next question or if you want me to expound on that.
Yeah, I was going to go into that.
Okay, well, yeah. Today's children, they grow up faster because a lack of parenting and the family dynamic has changed. Now, it's primarily the mothers in the home raising the sons, and the dads are absentee fathers.
Yeah.
So, it's a different dynamic. And there's a number of reasons for that. They took trades out of the high schools.
Okay.
The skills to pay the bills for the fathers, the carpenters, electricians, HVAC technicians. All right, so you leave a man without a job to feed his family and fend for his family, what is he gonna do? He's gonna resort to anything he knows how to do to put food on the table, which in our case, most black folks in the inner city is hustling.
Selling drugs and work and all that.
Primarily selling drugs. And the drugs that they lock us up for, they put into our system. We don't own no planes, no boats, but we have access to it. Right? Why is that? It's all part of the grand scheme of the power structure, the white power structure, to continue to enslave, impoverish, and oppress people that look like me and you. Make no mistakes about it. We can make better decisions, true indeed, but we are the only people who are imports. Everyone else is immigrants. The Chinese, the Italians, even the Caucasians, right? The East Indians, the Latinos, immigrants, they immigrant here.
Yeah.
Come here by choice. Us, me, you, our people, we were imported here. We didn't have a choice. So there's a lot of things that influence why we do what we do today and why we have the mindset we have today. What we'll have to do and what we have to teach the children, because they're growing up too fast, is to change their mindset of how they think about things. It's thoughts, feelings, behaviors. How you think is how you feel. How you feel translates into what? Behaviors. Think positive, what? I feel positive. I feel positive, then I'm probably gonna do something positive, right? If I'm thinking negatively, maladaptive, irrational, then I feel negative. And it translates into negative behaviors and actions. Everything is up here. I grab this, right? I probably look stupid right now, but I'm moving my arms, I'm moving things, right? How's that occur? Did my body just do that?
It had to be a thought.
Right. It had to be a thought.
Somewhere.
It had to start somewhere. Thoughts. So if you can control this, then you control how you feel, you control how you behave. That's what we have to teach the young generation that are growing up too fast, because they think irrational based off social media, environment, and lack of parenting, and lack to access to resources. So teaching these kids mindset, lion mind versus the dog mind, when to respond, not to respond, how to challenge these negative and irrational thought processes are key to getting our youth to understand the bigger picture. So, kids growing up too fast today, yeah, those are a number of factors. Fathers not being in the home, access to the resources, mothers that can't do anything with them at a certain age because a woman can't raise a man to be a man. I don't care how hard they try, they can't, because they aren't a man. Just like a man cannot effectively raise a girl to be a woman because he's not a woman. I don't care how good he is and father of the year, that's cool and that's appreciated, but you still can't raise a woman to be a woman just like a woman can't raise a man to be a man.
So following up with that question, This last question that I have is, what's some advice you would give to kids in my generation and younger? So the generation after me and continuing on about growing up too fast. What's some advice that you would give to my generation and younger?
Some advice I would give your generation or younger. That's a really good question. I'm not gonna say that it's nothing that I would give your generation or the generation that's coming after you, but it's more so towards the parents, because as kids you really don't know a lot. Like I can say for you, like Elijah, you knew that you wanted stuff, but I feel like if I didn't pour into you the way that I did to make you kind of think about different things, or like push you, like, okay, you're telling me that you want to do something and I'm pushing you. And even when sometimes you wanted to give up or you didn't want to do it no more, I'm even talking to you about that. Like you gotta work hard for what you want, or like you told me you wanted this, and these are the steps that you have to take so you can see if you really wanted something. And some things you did fall back on because you did realize that you didn't really want it. And then some things you was like, okay, I need to get out my feelings, I need to get over myself, and I need to really push through this because this is something that I truly desire. So I would say something, I feel like it's more so the parents' responsibility to help shape and develop that child. But what I would say to your generation or the generation and the generation after you is just be a kid. Like don't want to grow up too fast. And I say that because it may seem cool to like, oh, I want my own place, or I'm gonna have a car, or it may seem cool to like, I'm gonna get a job, and I have my own money, but it's a lot of responsibility for those things. And I feel like that's what the younger generation, or just people young in general, because I was the same way. I was ready to become an adult because how I thought life was going to be was completely different than how it really is. And that's why I feel like you need guidance from your parents, because you don't understand bills when you're young. You don't understand rent. You don't understand you gotta buy groceries and you gotta not only feed yourself but your children too. Like, you don't understand those things. So you think life is gonna be easier than what it really is. And for me, when I became an adult, I had to take care of you. So I didn't just have to take care of myself. I had to figure out, okay, clothes for you, how you're going to eat, like how I'm going to take care of yourself on top of taking care of myself. And I didn't even know all the time how I was going to even take care of my own self. So I would just say enjoy life. Enjoy life. Enjoy being home. Enjoy not having all the responsibility. But pay attention to. Like, ask your parents questions about ask them questions about money. Ask them questions about finances. Like, how do you live on your own and not struggle? Ask them questions about how to have a successful life. So that is one thing that I would say. Don't rush to be adults. And just like, if you already kind of like, even if you don't know what you want to do with your life as far as career wise, but what type of life you want, go ahead and start figuring out what will it take to obtain that type of life before you have to basically take care of yourself. So that's what I would tell your generation and the people that's coming behind you.
So
honestly, I'd say the biggest thing, at least for this topic, is to just like don't care about social media, don't care what people think and stuff like that. I really spent so much time focusing on being popular, having the coolest clothes, having the best outfits, like talking to the coolest people. And I didn't really do what I wanted to do in life. Like I was just on social media looking and I was like, dang, that dude looks super cool. I wish I could be like him. But in reality, I had friends and I had people who liked me and I had all these things that I didn't appreciate in the moment. And I ended up letting a lot of it slip away or slip past. Another big thing is just like social media in general, because you see so many different opinions, you see so many different popular people, big things happening, and you just like you're focused on that all the time. You can't focus on yourself and being happy in the moment. I think it takes away from a lot of people, especially teenagers in our generation.
I guess to enjoy your youth. Don't try to grow up so fast. I think like right now with like social media, um I'm looking at like kids that are, like in middle school, and they seem like they want to be grown up, and you're still a kid, and I think you should enjoy it, because soon before you know it, like you have responsibilities, you have bills, college, and then you'll wish you had enjoyed it when you didn't have that stuff.
The first thing I want to say, and I want you to turn the camera on me, like, I really want to say this to the young generation. First of all, don't have kids at a young age. Wait, first of all. And if you can't wait, wrap it up. And the reason why I say that, because having kids at a young age is not easy. And the person, and if you're a male or female, whoever, whatever, that person that you have the baby with, you're not going to be with as you get older in life. I promise you that. Because when you're young and you having kids at that age, you're not even fully developed mentally. So you and that person that you have that baby with, as y'all get older, y'all values gonna change. And so with that, you may not see that same person or be in love with that same person that you was in love with when you was 16. You're gonna grow apart. You gonna have different goals. He or she gonna have different goals. So I just tell anybody that's out here having sex at a young age, wrap it up, or just to wait. Period.
The advice I would give them is don't try to grow up too fast, and listen. Listen, and consider your responses before you respond. Kids today should be taught mindfulness in schools at an early age, being mindful, because y'all dissect so much information from the internet. Everything's at your fingertips. You want to know what the pyramids, what kind of stone the pyramids are made out of, right? Oh, it's made out of granite and yada yada yada. In my day, it was, we had to go to the library. So it's listen, y'all have access to too much information too soon, and y'all digesting that, y'all are consuming that, and that's what kids are becoming, what you consume. So to listen and actually be mindful about what you're consuming. If you have a dog mind, you're going to respond. If you have a lion mind, you're going to consider. Case in point, you been to the NC State Fair before?
Yeah, I've been there.
All right, so look, boom, you go there, you got your little John with you, you having a good time. You're like, yeah, shawty, you know what I'm saying? She bad, y'all see it, right? And then you go, you know, you see the turkey leg, you're like, damn, the turkey leg look like a dinosaur leg. Let me get one of them, right? You get a turkey leg. Yeah. All right, then you take one home, you take, you know, the fried corn home. You get to your car in the parking lot, and you like, that's your car outside? Mm-hmm. Right, so imagine a red-nosed pit in front of it, and you trying to get your girl home because your parents like, yo, you need to be in the crib at a certain time, shorty, don't play. Yeah. And a pit bull is sitting there. You got the turkey leg. You look at the pit bull, and you throw it. What does the pit bull do?
It's gonna go after it.
Right, the turkey leg. You know, the sense of smell is like, you know, wolves, because they, you know, come from wolves, right? They just developed over time. So he runs, he gets the turkey leg. You ain't even opening the door for Shorty. The gentleman thing is just out the window. You hop into the driver. Right, you out. So they get in the car. She get in the car, pew, you peel off, skirt. Right? Same scenario. You walking out of here, you got your turkey leg, you got your Shorty, you feeling good, you're trying to get her home, you know what I mean? And there's a lion sitting there. You got the turkey leg. You throw the turkey leg. What does the lion do?
Gonna go after it. Yeah.
Absolutely not. The lion is gonna sit there and he sees the turkey leg, but then he sees you and your girl. Who looks more like a meal?
Me and my girl, yeah.
So again, when you throw the turkey leg, is the lion gonna chase it? Nah.
Something bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he do? He was mindful. Took that 1 second to think before responding. We, children, respond with a dog mind. Respond to fights, respond to social media, respond to parents, respond to teachers. Just response. You can't do this to me. Oh, bleep that. You can't do this to me. My phone, I ain't doing that. Yo, son, yeah, I'm about to turn up on him, man. I'm about to spin the block. Oh, he a op. What's his last name? What's his favorite color? What's his mama last name? What's his mama first name? What's his grandmama name? What's his address? Where he live? What he like to do? I don't know. How is he your op then? You don't even know him. But we go spin the block on him. No mindfulness. No split second to say, hey, I really don't know nothing about this person. What did he really do to me? And if he did do something to me, is it bad enough? And challenge that belief system. Did he do something to me that was bad enough? And if so, what and how can we resolve it? Did he do something bad enough to me? No, he didn't. So why am I feeling this way to respond with violence, immediate violence? Because I'm not mindful. We need to teach mindfulness. Then you won't have children wanting to grow up so fast because they don't know better. Hey, I need to consider this before I attempt to do this, attempt to talk crazy to my parents who raised me, attempt to talk crazy to teachers who's trying to teach me so I'll have the skill set to afford me the necessary opportunities to make money to support my family, right? But we don't do that. We got parents making TikTok videos with the kids and they got red rags hanging out they pocket. No disrespect to red rags because I got some homies that do that. But this kid is 14, not going to school. You making TikTok videos with him with a red rag and he got a 0.3 GPA. What do you think, he's a lumberjack, Ma? You think he's a farmer, Ma? Does he work construction, Ma, where he has to use what the banner was intended for to wipe his head, Ma?
Nah.
But we as parents, we look past that. We gotta stop. Mindfulness. Parents need therapy more so than the children. Fact. Show you something. And if I don't show people, they wouldn't believe it. What's that date? Say there.
There?
Mm-hmm.
May 2nd, 2023.
Right. Read that number.
115.
Right. For what?
Attendance.
What's the boy's GPA?
A 0.3. Oh, wow.
What's his GPA?
A 0.3.
You want to know how? Ask me how old he is.
How old is he?
18. Ask me what grade he is.
What grade he in?
The 9th.
Wow.
He believes because he's bigger, he believes he's going to be an NFL player.
An NFL player?
Mm-hmm. And nobody's telling him any different. He leaves school at 9 o'clock in the morning to get tattoos, and who takes him? Grandma. And what was the number for absences? You remember?
115.
115, and he thinks he's going to the NFL. And people tell him he's good enough. You haven't even played football on a high school team, and you have a .3. What college can you get into with a point? You can't even get into a community college.
Yeah.
But he has delusions of grandeur, and nobody's telling him any different. Dad works, grandma collects a check. Why does he have a .3? Why is he in the 9th grade? And why does he believe he's going to become an NFL player? No mindfulness, no accountability. So I know that was a long answer, but that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
Do you think it's parents' faults, or do you think it's some parents' faults, or peer pressure, or like any other like variable, or maybe like a combination of like a lot of different stuff to like what makes to why kids basically like grow up fast? I was just thinking about that when you was talking.
So do I think it is peer pressure, adults, or both, a combination of both,
or like something, it could be
anything for why I think kids grow up fast?
yeah
I think it is, sometimes it is parents for putting, okay, so I do think adults sometimes, and the reason why I say that is because parents or adults give you adult responsibility and they don't explain it to you. And I feel like sometimes when you walk in that role of like just being responsible and taking care of stuff, that parent or adult is not also coming back to reassure you that you're still a kid and just be a kid. I think society, I think social media has a lot to do with why kids grow up fast. Sometimes people are not happy with the life that they live, so they can live in this fantasy world, and they think, I feel like the limitation that kids think or young people think is, the only limitation is I just need to grow up, when it's so many other things that you need to obtain this lifestyle. And that's what I was talking about. Ask questions about, okay, if you already know, even if you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, but you know what type of life you want, what is it going to take for you to obtain this life?
Okay. Yeah.
So I feel like it could be a lot of things for why kids grow up fast. And to be honest, some kids don't have a choice. Like, sometimes kids want to be grown or they want to grow up fast, and it is a choice. And then sometimes they're not given a choice. So it depends on the circumstances, honestly. Some people are forced into it, and then some people, they just see and think, oh, my life will be better, or when I become an adult, I could do what I want to do. But they don't understand everything else that it would take for you to have whatever life you're thinking about in your head.
Okay. How much weight do you think peer pressure goes into growing up fast?
I think it's a big part of it. For me personally, I just put a lot of pressure on myself. There's a lot of internalized things, but I think peer pressure had a lot to do with it because, like I said, I went to a charter school where everybody had like Nike clothes and they had like cool shoes and they had all these types of things that I didn't have, but I had things that they didn't have that I didn't see. So I think a lot of it is being comfortable enough with yourself to not care about other people. I think that's a big thing that a lot of kids don't have.
How important is appreciating everything that you have and where you're at in life with growing up?
I think it's really important. I think a lot of people don't put importance on it until a lot later in life. Like even teenagers or like mid 20s aren't doing that. Um, I think just like enjoying stuff is a big thing that a lot of people don't have and aren't able to do because I keep going back to it, social media, you're able to live life through other people with social media, with influencers, with games, with personalities that aren't necessarily yours. So I think being able to look at yourself and say, you know, I'm fine wearing normal clothes, being a normal person, as long as I'm having fun and with cool people, with nice people, with big like things that you hold closely to yourself. I think a lot of people put like importance on stuff that really just isn't important.
For other kids that kind of grew up like that, where a lot of the pressure was on like the oldest sibling, do you blame it on the parents' fault? Do you think it's always the parents' fault? And do you regret? Do you regret? I'm sorry. Do you regret all that pressure that was put on you, or do you resent that basically?
So I think I would like to say like I turned out pretty okay. So I don't think I regret it because it's like kind of made like who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I wouldn't say it's like entirely like the parents' fault because I feel like if I didn't want to be an example for them, I didn't have to be, you know. So I kind of did to do good and have some of my siblings to look up to.
So, with growing up fast, I guess in your experience, did it come with a lot of trauma, and is that like a generational thing, like your mom passing on to you, and you passing it on to your son? And how did it affect, like, I don't know, how did it affect like people's lives and stuff like that?
Got you. Check this out. It is a generational curse because my mama had me when she was young. My dad was young also. And so it was up to me to stop that. So I made it a what you want to say, a conscious decision to make sure that my child did not have a child, for one, at an early age. I wanted to stop that. I wanted that to stop at me. So I made a conscious decision to be an active father in my son's life. And his mom was an active mother in his life to make sure that he understood why he shouldn't play with that fire or have a child at a young age. To indeed, yes, I really battled with that. Mm-hmm. I battled with not having a father. So that decision alone and that battle made me step up to be a father. Now it's easily for me not to be because I had that blueprint of what not to be. My dad was not an active father.
Yeah.
But he showed me by not being active what I could do as an active father myself. And I enjoyed every minute of being an active father. I wear that hat to the extreme of being a good father. I wear that. That's a badge of honor for me. And so for all the men out here that's not stepping up and taking care of their kids, I pity and I feel sorry for you because you're missing out on beautiful thing as fatherhood, man. Being a father is the best thing for me, man. I get pleasure out of that. I wear that. So.
All right. Well, I'm not where you at with being a father yet. Hopefully not. Hopefully I get my life.
Yeah, please take your time. Don't rush it.
Yeah,
because like I said, I have one child that, biologically that I have, but I also have two other children that I got through marriage. You know what I'm saying? And so, but for me, in the field that I'm in, I have touched many kids, so I have many kids. So I don't really see as is that I just have three boys. Man, I got many kids, bro, because I have touched many kids' lives. So, and that's what I do. Not only do I share my fatherhood with my own kids, I share it with kids that I come in contact with. So I'm a father to them too. Try to be anyway, indirectly, but you know what I'm saying, showing them the way, giving them, injecting some of me into them, like whether it's knowledge or, showing them different things of, just being active in the community, being a positive role model. Period.
Yeah, we need more of that.
Yeah,
So
of course.
I commend you for your efforts.
Thank you.
But since you're a licensed professional at your trade, at your job, I know you probably could have went off into many directions with this interview. But is there anything else you would add to that, to what we already discussed?
Well, for young fathers and young mothers that's are out here that's parents at a young age and trying to figure this thing out, to navigate and still try to figure a way to make a life for themselves. Only thing I want to say, put your 10 toes down and go for it. Still reach your dreams and your goals, because you can. Look at me. I come from a single parent home. I had a child out of wedlock at the age of 16. But look, I still went off to college. I still got my master's degree. I still got my own business. Not only that, I worked for the state of North Carolina for 25 years for the Department of Juvenile Justice, working with delinquent youth. So you can make a life for yourself. So don't feel like because you made a choice that wasn't a good choice that you should stop living. No, look at me. If I could do it, you could do it. And I'm going back to get my doctorate in October. So life is what you make it. You have to make that conscious choice to keep going. So like I said, and to make sure whatever the cards that are dealt to you, that you make them work for you. Yeah, I was a young father at 16. I graduated college, and my son did too. So, hey, it's up to you to make the difference and create the life that you want. It's up to you.
Is there anything else you would add to your answer? Or anything that you said that we discussed so far? Is there anything for like the youth, for the parents, the children, to whoever?
Yeah, for the youth to actually just be mindful and consider your future and what that looks like. Because the reality of it, and this is another reason why I do this and Brother Mo does this, we see children, and I'm not calling you a kid, but I'm older than you.
Yeah.
See kids your age, and we see potential in you, but potential which just could be. Could be this, could be that. We see it, and we see kids going the wrong direction because nobody cares. And it's to the point that kids don't care either because the parents don't care. It's a trickle down. It starts with the parents. It starts at home. Things are happening in front of our face, and a lot of us aren't paying attention to them. You go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go to Food Line, right? You go into Walmart, there's like 25 registers. right? How many people do you see working on those registers now?
At most, probably 5. Something like that.
Maybe 5. But the self-checkout line, you seen those too?
Yeah.
How many people you see backed up for that?
A whole bunch. I mean, it's the whole store, basically.
Yeah,
It's backed up.
yeah. And there's like 8 self-checkouts. Now they're expanding them to where it's 12. And then next it's gonna be the whole store self-checkout below, 5 below the store right in White Oak up there. It's all self-checkout. Nobody takes any card, any money, anything. I was over in Europe in Amsterdam in December, and you can't hand them your card and they take anything. You have to do it at the machine.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So it started over there already. Same thing in Switzerland when I went to Zurich in March. Same thing. This March, same thing. So they're taking out all these registers and they're adding more self-checkouts, AI, automation. And kids don't understand they're not going to have any jobs because they don't need you. If I got 8 self-checkouts, I need 1 person. I don't need to help if something goes wrong. I don't need X amount of people on the registers, which means I don't need X amount of people to work here, which is eliminating jobs. And then the kids will say, well, I just go work at McDonald's. Negative. McDonald's is becoming automated. The kiosks, you see the kiosks now, you gotta get your food. And they got machines now, and they got one down in Texas, and I'll show you after this, where in Texas, it's a fully functional automated McDonald's with no people in it. They make the food there, they push it out the window for you. They don't need any people. So the jobs that we considered meaningless back in the day, I'll go work at McDonald's, fast food, they're eliminating those jobs easier because guess what? The thing they got in common between McDonald's and the self-checkout lines, them self-checkout lines, they never got no attitude with no customers. They ain't never late. They always on time. They don't need health insurance. They don't get tired. They can work any shift and they ain't talking back. Not making no trouble. No errors. Why I need you as a human? Body. And it's more effective and efficient for the business owner. Shit, I got some machines to make hamburgers. Yeah, the cost up front, yeah, it might be a little higher, but shit, they ain't gotta pay insurance, they ain't gotta taxes on them. Yeah, I'm gonna get these machines. And I ain't gotta deal with you, Jamal. Mary, with your attitude, what customers might think with your red and blue hair that's not natural. With
Keep going.
yeah, it's like, nah, I don't need that. I don't need you. So we need to smarten up. The youth need to smarten up. They need to listen, be more mindful, and the parents need to be a better job at parenting. Well, and not even doing a better job at parenting, just parent. Stop giving them these goddamn devices, shoving them in their head and saying, leave me alone. That's further exacerbating the problem.
Is that generational? Even though like the giving kids phones, get out my face, is that the same thing as back? I don't know how you was raised, but I think grandparents used to tell their kids to go outside and stay out there all day.
Yep.
Don't be coming inside and all that every 5 minutes and stuff like that.
Well, it's generational, and you know, leave me alone, give me my space. But it's not generational and what they were telling them to do. Like, go outside, play, don't come on to the street lights, come on, yeah, that was our thing, but let's go outside and play. Now it's here's this phone, you got access to learn anything you want, porn, how to make bombs, what type of guns are used, what type of music you can listen to. You might be 9 and you're singing, spin the block at our party, he did not go. You're talking about our parties and that, but you can't even read the word current. But you know all the words, art party. Spinning on these. Got access, which is excessive. So you are what you consume. I gotta get to this point though. I got these people out there.
Well, as I wrap it up, I want to thank you again for just coming on here and just giving us your opinion and your views on the topic. And I just appreciate this opportunity to just speak with you.
No doubt. Hey man, appreciate it. Y'all make sure y'all lock in, y'all tap in. We got to do this again, man.
All right, Mr. Farley. I appreciate having you just join me on this interview.
Anytime.
And giving your thoughts and just even giving game, to people in my generation
Thank
for the future and stuff.
Thank you.
So I appreciate that. So
appreciate you and your time. One.
All right. So well, thank you for like coming on the interview and answering these questions and just being a part of the video. I really appreciate your input. I think it brought a different like perspective, a different different perspective to the whole conversation. So again, I just want to thank you for that. But thank you, Ms. Harrison, for coming on here and giving us your perspective, your points of views on these questions. I appreciate it a lot, man.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thank you, Mom, for answering those questions that I had for the people. I hope, guys that's watching this, I hope that her answers, maybe y'all might have connected with her answers, or you could take something with you that she said and apply it to your life. Thank you, Mom, once again for helping me out with this interview, with this video.
You are welcome.
Let's get to the next one. All right.